Welcome to this Naboo 5.0 video tutorial. If you are watching this video, it's because you have chosen LAINOX's Naboo 5.0 as the vertical cooking system for your kitchen. In this video tutorial, you will find content to discover the features and capabilities of our Naboo. Let's start with turning on Naboo. To turn on Naboo, simply press and hold your finger on the icon. Naboo will turn on automatically. In fact, we were inspired by a smartphone display to make Naboo customizable and easy to use. At the top on the home screen, you will find the manual cooking modes that allow you to set time, temperature, humidity, and airspeed. The modes are convection, steam, combi, and a manual mode for regeneration. Immediately below, however, you will find the recipes created by LAINOX that can be customized. Within the recipes, we have already preset temperature settings, time, cooking mode, core temperature, and airspeed. Simply tap on a recipe to start cooking, but they are all editable. The Naboo display can be modified and customized according to your needs and your menu. Moreover, all the icons are clear and intuitive thanks to the photos. At the bottom, you can organize recipes by creating folders where you can insert recipes by category, for example, or create a weekly menu or a menu of the day. In the central part, however, you will find the multi-level folders. In the multi-level folders, you can cook different products simultaneously in the same cooking chamber, managing the cooking of a different product for each level. The multi-level feature is very useful during service or your mise en place. At the bottom, you will find the settings related to Naboo, the washing functions, the possibility to create new recipes, activate a manual multi-level, activate a manual cooking mode, My Nabook, turn Naboo on and off, and the user manual. You can customize the display by moving the icons around according to your needs. You can delete a recipe by simply holding it down and clicking on the X. If, on the other hand, we click on the blue part, it can be duplicated. This allows us to then move it and add it to a multi-level folder or a normal folder. The Naboo display is completely customizable. Imagine that you can even delete all the recipes and keep only those that interest you. Wi-Fi configuration and connection to Naboo. Let's find out how easy it is to connect our Naboo to Wi-Fi. By entering the settings, you can select the Wi-Fi settings. Once in the Wi-Fi settings, simply tap on the name of the network you want to connect to and enter the network key. Once Naboo is connected, just go back and enter the cloud mode. The cloud dedicated function allows us to connect Naboo to Nabook, our kitchen management portal. Thanks to Nabook, we can remotely monitor Naboo's operation, create new recipes, configure and customize the display, or add new recipes created by LAINOX chefs. Furthermore, within Nabook, you can also create and calculate the food cost of your dishes, manage the shopping list, and lay out a menu, for example, for an event. By entering the Nabook section, you can create your own account directly on the Naboo display. By entering your first name, surname, username, password, and all the data you need. Once the connection is made, a confirmation link will be sent to you. You just need to click on the link, then click OK to start synchronization. Naboo will automatically synchronize every 2 hours and send all data to the cloud. If, for example, you have multiple Naboos in your kitchen, Naboo will automatically synchronize all connected units with your account. If you want to start Naboo manually, simply select an icon related to the cooking modes. In this case, let's click on convection. On the screen, you can set the chamber temperature from a minimum of 30 to a maximum of 300 degrees. The cooking time, which in this case is set to infinite, or you can add seconds, or minutes up to a maximum of 24 hours. You can also select the core temperature for cooking your food with a probe. On the blue screen, however, there's a setting related to Fast Dry. Fast Dry is our moisture extraction system. Thanks to Fast Dry, Naboo can remove all moisture from the cooking chamber, ensuring you a crisp, even cooking and uniform browning inside the cooking chamber. 100% the valve remains closed. The moisture is not expelled from the cooking chamber, but it can be adjusted. You can adjust how much moisture to retain in the cooking chamber or bring it to zero and then fully open the Fast Dry. You can adjust the airspeed. Naboo has 6 continuous air speeds and 6 intermittent airspeed. Puff and Foody have 2 continuous air speeds and 2 intermittent air speeds. At the bottom, you can find the button for humidifying. By pressing this button, Naboo will spray water into the cooking chamber and create instant steam. This function is very useful when baking, especially bread. The button at the bottom with the open door allows us to cool the cooking chamber to our set temperature. We also have the option to activate the plus controls. To stop a cooking mode, simply press and hold the stop button. In this case, Naboo asks me if I want to continue cooking, brown, or finish and return to the start screen. To return to the start screen, simply press the back arrow. In the steam cooking mode, you can adjust the temperature from a minimum of 30 to a maximum of 130 degrees. Similarly to convection mode, you can adjust the cooking time or the core temperature. We still have the 6 air speeds or the 2 air speeds for Puff and Foody, continuous or intermittent. In steam mode, if your Naboo is equipped with a steam generator, you can set the Eco Vapor or Turbo Vapor function. With the Eco Vapor function, Naboo creates a fine and even steam, ideal for steaming all your products, especially for steaming delicate products. The Turbo Vapor function, on the other hand, allows Naboo to create a more intense, more humid steam, useful for cooking tough products such as potatoes, tubers, carrots, turnips, or fresh pasta. The Eco Vapor function is available from 30 to 100 degrees. Below the setting of 90 degrees, it is not possible to activate the Turbo Vapor function. Conversely, if we work with the Turbo Vapor function, above 100 degrees the Eco Vapor function is automatically disabled. This is because above 100 degrees Naboo will automatically create a more intense and powerful steam to speed up the steaming times of your preparations. You can switch from one cooking mode to another simply by touching the button related to the cooking setting you want to view. In this case, we have switched to combined mode. In combined mode, you can set the chamber temperature from 30 to 300 degrees, the cooking time, which in this case is infinite, or the core temperature. It is still possible to set the 6 air speeds as continuous or discontinuous, or 2 area speeds with regard to puff and foody. In this case, it is possible to set the auto climate. The auto climate function, always a LAINOX patent, allows us to monitor the humidity in the chamber during cooking. In the combined function, thanks to the auto climate, it is possible to add humidity to the chamber if needed. If the food produces too much humidity, Naboo will automatically stop supplying humidity to the chamber and will open the fast dry to restore the value we set. Let's take an example. If we set a humidity of 40%, Naboo will calculate the current humidity inside the cooking chamber. If necessary, it will add humidity until it reaches 40%. Conversely, if the humidity in the cooking chamber is excessive, Naboo will open the fast dry to remove the excess humidity. In all manual cooking modes, we recommend preheating the cooking chamber. To preheat the cooking chamber, simply set the manual mode you find most necessary. Then click the preheat button and set the preheating temperature. I recommend setting a preheating temperature 20% higher than the cooking temperature. In this way, your cooking performance will remain unchanged. In the case of full loads, I recommend setting an even higher preheating temperature. Naboo 5.0 is equipped with preheating up to 320 degrees. This makes it perfect for high-temperature cooking of products, such as meat or fish, which need to be seared without ever losing cooking performance. Puff and foody have a maximum temperature of 260 degrees both in cooking and in preheating. Once the preheating temperature is set, simply press OK and Naboo will automatically preheat the cooking chamber. Once preheating is complete, Naboo alerts us that we can start loading the products inside. The smart lighting system makes the use of Naboo even more intuitive. Thanks to this system, you only need to look at the cooking chamber to understand Naboo's status and whether we are ready to start cooking. During the preheating phases, the cooking chamber light will be red. When Naboo has reached the ideal cooking temperature, the light in the cooking chamber will be green and the display will show the message to insert the product. Simply open the cooking chamber, insert the products inside, close it, and cooking will start automatically. To start an automatic ICS cooking, just choose the recipe and click on the corresponding icon. Naboo will automatically go into preheating. Naboo Coach, our virtual assistant, suggests, for example, how to improve our recipe. In this case, simply press OK to proceed. It is possible to adjust and customize the recipe. In this case, I have chosen a roast beef recipe where I can adjust and customize the browning level from a minimum of 200 to a maximum of 240 degrees. I can customize the internal cooking level of the roast beef from a minimum of 48 to a maximum of 54 degrees and the level of humidity I want to maintain during cooking. These customizations are only related to the cooking of the roast beef. It is possible to view the recipe and see all the stages that compose it. In this case, the roast beef recipe has 5 cooking steps. The first is dedicated to browning the meat. Then the cooking chamber will cool down to cook the roast beef at a low temperature. Finally, the last phase is maintaining at 52 degrees, allowing us to cook our roast beef overnight. It is possible to modify an ICS recipe. by entering edit mode, the recipe is no longer an automatic ICS recipe, but becomes a personal recipe, and it is possible to modify it phase by phase, customizing it according to your needs. Once we have modified our cooking parameters, simply go back and click the Save button to save the changes we have made. Subsequently, by clicking Save again, we will create a new icon with a new recipe containing the customizations we have set. In this way, it is possible to consistently replicate your recipes with your own modifications and truly customize the Naboo according to your menu and cooking method. Within an ICS recipe, by clicking the Info button, you can view a real cookbook. Inside, you will find the context, the history of the dish, the ingredients, the procedure, the accessories to use, and finally the presentation image. All of this can be consulted directly from the Naboo display or directly from our portal nabook.cloud. ICS automatic recipes are recipes where the cooking parameters have already been preset. It is possible to partially modify the parameters by adapting the recipe to the type of product to be cooked. Additionally, all ICS recipes are editable and can be saved as desired, thus customizing your display. It is possible to create a customized recipe from scratch. To do this, simply press on the hat with the plus sign. Naboo asks us how we want to create our recipe. It is possible to create a multi-stage recipe, a recipe that has a single cooking stage that can be placed within a multi-level folder. The last one is to modify a recipe we have already created. In this case, we click on the first hat with the plus. We set the cooking mode. In this case, I set a convection cooking mode, set a temperature, and a cooking time. And the fast dry. I can also set and customize the airspeed. It is possible to add and create a new cooking stage. Naboo asks me to confirm if I want to add a cooking stage. Let's press OK. And I set my cooking. It is possible to create customized recipes and switch from timed cooking stages to convection to probe cooking stages, combined or steamed. It is possible to create the recipe that best suits your cooking. In this case, once I have set all the parameters, I go to set the additional plus functions. Within the plus functions, we find all the additional functions to the recipe. One of these is the maintenance. The maintenance allows us, at the end of cooking, to add a stage precisely to keep our cooking, our preparation warm. It is possible to choose 3 different levels of maintenance. A maintenance with an open valve, a dry maintenance with a closed valve, and a combined maintenance with 30% humidity. It is possible to adjust the maintenance temperature from a minimum of 30 to a maximum of 80 degrees. You can add a stage for finishing and browning your product. It is also possible to add a smoking stage thanks to the smoke grill system. Thanks to the smoke grill system placed inside the Naboo drawer, you can find a bag with a liquid smoke essence obtained from 100% natural combustion. The system is completely automatic and it will be sufficient to select a smoking stage. It is possible to choose between 3 different levels: soft, medium, or hard. The smoke grill system only works with convection. Thanks to this system, it is possible to flavor our cooking with that smoky touch that makes every dish different. With the vent management, it is possible to manage the valve by setting an opening time. In this case, it will be sufficient to set the opening time we want to give to our valve to pre-opening. This allows us to manage as in traditional cooking methods, without using the fast dry percentage. In case your Naboo is equipped with an external setup for the core probe, it is possible to use the dual core probe. You can choose to use the dual core probe to monitor the cooking of two different products simultaneously during the same cooking process. At the start of each cooking step, it is possible to add preset commands. Commands can be standard like those already set within Naboo, such as stir and cover. Or we can customize our own command by inserting a personal command into the recipe, thus customizing the recipe according to the ingredients we need to add. The plus soft dry command allows activation of the exclusive soft dry system of Naboo 5.0. Soft dry allows moisture removal from the cooking chamber in a slower and gentler way, ideal for all baked goods and whipped mixtures that need to develop and brown evenly. The soft dry function is available only on the Naboo 5.0 range and can only be activated if we set the fast drying convection cooking mode to 0%. During this phase, the opening and closing times of the fast dry are quicker. This allows for a much more stable temperature in the chamber and regular development of all your baked goods, whipped mixtures, and large leavened items. Once my recipe is customized with the plus functions, simply go back and press the Save button. Set the name of the recipe, choose the image. You can choose an image from the gallery already present in the database within Naboo or import it via the USB port. Go back and click Save again. An icon with your name and set photo will be created automatically. To activate it, simply click on the icon we just created. Naboo will automatically set the ideal preheating temperature. It is possible to modify the preheating temperature based on the amount of load I insert into the cooking chamber. In this case, I can customize the new preheating temperature by clicking on the Naboo icon that preheats, setting the new preheating temperature, and clicking Save to save the new preheating temperature I set. To modify a personal recipe we've created, simply click on the hat with the plus sign and enter the hat with the pencil, then search for the recipe. And click on it. You can customize and modify it once again. And afterwards, it will be possible to save the changes and customizations we made. It is possible to modify a personal recipe even during cooking if we realize, for example, that we need to lower the cooking temperature or raise the core temperature of the product. At the end of cooking, Naboo will automatically notify us if we want to save the changes we made or not. Naboo's multi-level allows us to cook completely different products within a single cooking chamber. Obviously, the conditions of the cooking chamber must be the same for all products. On each shelf, Naboo manages a different cooking time or a different core temperature. Thanks to the new Multilevel Plus system, Naboo allows us to manage even 2 different cooking times on a single shelf. This allows us to cook up to 20 different products simultaneously within a Naboo with 10 trays. But now let's see how to start a multi-level folder. Within Naboo, there are already preset multi-level folders. Simply choose the multi-level folder based on your cooking needs, click on it, and Naboo automatically preheats the cooking chamber. Even at this stage, it is possible to customize the preheating temperature. Once Naboo has reached the ideal cooking temperature, at the top you will find the recipes that can be cooked, which have already been added to the multi-level folder. At the bottom, you will find the shelves of the cooking chamber from 1 to 10. You will also find a further division into front and back. Starting a recipe is very simple. Simply open the cooking chamber, insert the product inside and close it. Select the recipe and drag it onto the shelf where we have placed the tray, and cooking will start automatically. To place 2 different recipes on the same shelf, simply take the second recipe and drag it. On the front, keep on the right side of the display. On the back, keep on the left side. See how Naboo automatically allows us to view 2 different recipes on a single shelf. During cooking, it is possible to interact with the recipe and adjust the cooking time. Note that any changes made at this moment will not be saved, and whenever the same recipe is dragged onto the levels again, the standard cooking time will start. To delete a recipe from a multi-level shelf, simply hold it down and click on the red X. To add more recipes to the multi-level folder you are using, simply press the plus button at the top right. Naboo will automatically search for all recipes compatible with the current condition of the cooking chamber. Simply browse the recipes, choose them, and select them, and add them. This way, the multi-level folder can be customized. It is also possible to rename the multi-level folder either by changing the name or choosing another one, and adapt the multi-level folder to your menu, mise en place, or preparation. To create a new multi-level folder, we will start by creating a new multi-level recipe. To do this, simply press the chef's hat with the plus sign. In this case, we will click on the ML cap with the plus. This mode allows us to create a recipe with a single cooking step. This recipe can be added to an ML folder or simply started from your home screen. Simply set the recipe by choosing the cooking method, customizing the product's cooking time, and finally the air speed. In this case, it is not possible to add the plus features. Once the cooking parameters are set, simply press the Save button. In this case, simply set the name of the recipe. Choose the photo from Naboo's gallery or import it from your USB memory. Go back and press Save again. The recipe will be created on the last page of the home screen. From this moment, to create a new multi-level folder, simply take the recipe with your finger and drag it to the plus on the multi-level row. A new multi-level folder will be automatically created called New ML1. By clicking inside the new multi-level folder, it is possible to change the name of the folder. Once the cooking chamber is preheated, it is possible to rename the multi-level folder by giving it the name we prefer. To add more recipes to the multi-level folder, it is possible thanks to the plus function. Automatically, Naboo will search for recipes compatible with the recipe I created earlier. It will be enough to select them and add them. You can also remove a recipe from the multi-layer folder in which it was placed by simply holding it down and clicking the X. From this moment on, the multi-layer folder we have created will contain these 3 recipes. It will have the name we have just set for it, and it can be activated whenever we need it. To delete a multi-layer folder, you need to click on the multi-layer folder. Simply skip the preheating and delete all the recipes inside the folder by holding down on the recipe and clicking the X. Only when we have deleted the last recipe in the multi-layer folder will the folder be deleted. Let's explore the section dedicated to Nabook and Nabook for managing recipes. First of all, Nabook is located at the bottom left of the Naboo display. Nabook is the archive and memory of all the recipes present within Naboo. Thanks to Nabook, you can view recipes without starting them. Moreover, within Nabook, we also find personal recipes that we have created ourselves. To search for a recipe on Nabook, you can do so by selecting the type of recipe such as pasta, vegetables, fish, meat, the nationality, and the category whether they are ICS or personal. You can also search for only multi-layer recipes or simply by clicking and entering the name of the recipe you want to search for. As in this case. By clicking on the recipe, you can view it without starting it. We can look at the context, the history, the ingredients, the procedure, the accessories, and the presentation photo. We can even see the cooking cycles of this recipe. It is possible to start the recipe. To start it, we need to add it to the home screen, and to do so, simply drag it to the home that appears at the bottom. Thanks to one-touch technology, with a single touch the recipe starts automatically. On Nabook, we have seen the offline part of Naboo. Now let's enter the connected part. Let's click on Nabook again, and this time let's enter the cloud at the bottom. Within Naboo, you will find over 400 recipes developed by Chef LAINOX. Your Naboo will arrive at your business with approximately 100 recipes, but you can add more and implement the recipes already present within Naboo. To do this, you can indeed enter Nabook directly from the Naboo display. On Nabook, you can find recipes already present on your Naboo or new recipes. In fact, you may notice how some icons have a rotating blue arrow. This arrow indicates that the recipe is already present within Naboo, but it has been implemented and therefore can be updated. Indeed, you can update a recipe already present on Naboo by simply taking the recipe and dragging it into the box. Naboo asks us if we want to replace the local recipe with the updated version. It will be enough to press OK and then download it by clicking the button from the cloud to Naboo. If, however, the recipes are already present on your device, you will see them with the green flag at the top left. Here too, you can search for recipes by type, pasta, vegetables, meat, nighttime cooking, and so on. You can search for them by nationality, or alternatively, search just for multi-layer recipes. You can also search for a recipe by clicking on the search bar and typing even the first 3 letters. Automatically, Naboo will search for the recipe keyword and will offer you, indeed, several corresponding recipes. It is possible to view a recipe, as in this case, by clicking on it. You can see it, indeed, read the context, the ingredients, the procedure, the accessories to use, and the presentation image. We can also view the cooking cycles. If we like the recipe, we can go back and download it directly to Naboo by clicking from the cloud to the device. You can delete a recipe from Naboo by going to My Nabook. If we delete a recipe on the home screen, we will only remove it from the home page, but not from your Naboo's memory. To do this, it will be enough to delete the recipe from My Nabook. In this case, we look for the recipe in question. Simply hold down the recipe and click on X. Naboo asks us to confirm if we want to permanently delete the recipe. We click on Delete and the recipe will also be removed from the home screen. If they are ICS recipes, they can be downloaded again directly from Nabook. In the Naboo settings, we can find settings related to profile lock, user settings, Wi-Fi settings, Nabook settings, date and time settings, the possibility of delayed cooking start, settings for data download and upload via USB memory, software update settings, home screen settings, boiler settings, multi-level settings, energy monitor, contacts, and the service level. The activation of profile locks involves reducing or eliminating the possibility to customize or modify manual cooking settings or recipes during the operation of Naboo. This setting is very useful if Naboo is placed within chains or in places where there is a frequent staff turnover and the operator wants to work with standardized recipes. It is possible to activate different profile locks. The first profile lock only blocks recipe changes within DID iNaboo. The second profile blocks recipe changes and the ability to start manual cooking. The third is the complete profile lock, which completely locks Naboo and no modifications can be made. It is also possible, if your Naboo is equipped with a steam generator, to block the call out as well. It is also possible to adjust the display timeout minute. For example, it is possible to activate the preheating timeout. Naboo reaches the preheating temperature, and after a set number of minutes with no action taken, Naboo automatically exits the recipe and returns to the initial screen. The same applies to the multi-level setting. If we use Naboo in multi-level mode, and after the set number of minutes we do nothing, Naboo automatically exits the recipe and returns to the initial screen. It is possible to adjust the preheating minute simply by touching the minutes line. To activate any profile lock, it is necessary to create a password, and the user will create a personal password. Naboo will ask for confirmation of the created password and subsequently, it will be possible to adjust the various preheating and multi-level timeout timers, as well as enabling or disabling the profile lock. The setting is saved automatically simply by going back. User settings and brightness adjustments. It is possible to adjust Naboo's lighting. In the first selection, it is possible to adjust the display brightness level, which can be adjusted. In the screen below, it is possible to activate energy saving minutes. With energy saving, Naboo's display will temporarily turn off and the cooking chamber light will go out. This is to save additional energy. It is possible to change the cooking chamber colors based on different phases, but only if you have the smart lighting system within Naboo. It is possible to associate a different light color with each phase, and it is also possible to select whether the light should illuminate or remain steady. To save the changes, just go back. Sound settings. In the sound settings, it is possible to enable or disable Naboo's sounds. It is possible to adjust the volume of Naboo's sound and choose 3 different alarms and select 9 different sounds for each alarm to also customize Naboo's cooking sounds. It is possible to activate sounds in standby mode for manual cooking and also to activate the door open sound in case the door is left open during cooking. To save the changes, it will be sufficient to go back. Language settings. In the language settings, it is possible to choose the language of Naboo's operating system, enable the timer in minutes and seconds, or if we disable it, it will be displayed in hours and minutes. It is possible to always display real-time temperatures during all cooking processes. We can customize the temperature unit, Celsius and Fahrenheit. We can customize the units of measurement for liquids. We can customize the units of measurement for detergents. And finally, we can also display the amount of smoke grill left in the container, and it is possible to reset it when the container is replaced. To save these settings, simply click on the Save button, then go back. Settings related to the Naboo Coach. As we have seen, the Naboo Coach is a virtual assistant that intervenes and gives us advice during cooking or even maintenance advice. It suggests the appropriate washing program to use based on the cooking mode detected by Naboo. It suggests, for example, when the air filter needs cleaning. These controls can be activated or deactivated. In fact, in the first line, it is possible to activate or deactivate maintenance suggestions. In the second line, it is possible to view and deactivate recipe suggestions. To save, it will be sufficient to go back. Settings related to the Smart Diagnostic System. This setting is only for Naboo 5.0 and allows us to launch a diagnostic at any time within the machine to verify the correct functioning of all components. To perform the diagnostic, simply click on the Smart Diagnostic System symbol. Then click on Start. Naboo will ask us for confirmation if we want to start the Smart Diagnostic. We click on Confirm and it asks us initially to cool the cooking chamber if it is above a temperature of 50 degrees. When the cooking chamber has reached the right temperature, Naboo asks us to close the door. It asks us whether all the LEDs are white. And it asks us if all the LEDs are green. Then the Smart Diagnostic will start. Following the diagnostic shortly, you can see a report of all the components and their correct functioning. At the conclusion of the Smart Diagnostic System, we can see how Naboo has correctly analyzed all the components. In this case, there is no anomaly present. Should a malfunction be present, Naboo will alert us with a red mark accompanied by the Naboo coach, who gives us advice and suggestions on the component that is not working correctly. Date and time adjustment. It is possible to change the date and time on the Naboo display and also set the time zone. If Naboo is connected to a Wi-Fi network and synchronizes through a cloud, the time and date are set automatically. It is possible to select either the 24-hour or 12-hour time format. Going back saves the changes. It is possible to schedule a delayed start for cooking. To do this, simply press the delayed start icon. It is possible to set the date or time for when we want Naboo to start late. In this case, I have set a 1-hour delay. We press OK and select the recipe we want to start. In this case, Naboo will start at the scheduled time with the recipe I selected. During the delayed start, preheating will not be done. Naboo will start directly with the cooking of the product. It is possible to download or upload data using a USB stick. To do this, simply click on the USB icon. It is possible to download hacked data, download technical data on service level information, download the full machine backup or only the profile backup or the recipe backup. Let's take an example. To download the hacked data from Naboo, simply connect the USB stick to the USB port located inside the smoke grill drawer. Open the appropriate support and insert the stick. Once the stick is connected, in this case, it is possible to press the hack icon. Naboo asks us which hacked data period we want to download, and it will be sufficient to select the time period. It is also possible to add information regarding energy consumption or extra information that occurs during cooking. Then, by clicking Save, Naboo will export all the hacked data within the time interval I selected. Once the download is complete, it will be enough to go back and remove the USB stick. You can view the hacked files directly from a PC with an Excel file. Settings related to software update. By clicking on Software Update, you can update the base plus the interface completely using the USB stick. It is also possible to search for software updates directly from the cloud. Or you can update the user manual present inside Naboo. In this case, no software updates are available. If new software updates are available, the Naboo coach will send a pop-up indicating that a new software update is available and can be installed at any time. Adjusting icons and cooking messages. In this setting, you can set the size of the icons, whether small or large. You can disable the end of cooking message. You can disable the message that reminds you to back up data via USB stick. You can disable the message for checking the detergent tanks. You can disable the message for an open door during cooking. Instead, you can show the message for entering the production batch. This function is only available for Naboo 5.0 and can be activated, and at the beginning of each cooking, Naboo will ask for the production batch. In this way, we will have a perfect record of hacked data associated with the production batch of the food we are cooking. Additionally, you can remove all settings and recipes from the home page and also remove shortcuts for manual cooking. This way, you can fully customize the display of your Naboo. Settings related to the cooking chamber levels. You can set and tell Naboo which levels of the cooking chamber are available based on the tray layout we are using. Additionally, you can associate the level number on the display with the actual level as has been done now, or you can modify it. If we always work with trays of 60 heights, it is possible to reduce the levels to 5. In this way, when we cook in multi-level, we already know that one level corresponds to 2 shelves. You can enable or disable the double level mode front and back, and you can also select front and back or right and left, thus customizing the settings related to the cooking chamber levels. To save, it will be enough to go back. Energy monitor. The energy monitor is our display that controls and monitors all consumptions recipe by recipe, day by day, or week by week up to 12 months prior. Thanks to the energy monitor, we have constant control over the consumption of energy, water, combiclion, or cal-free. In this way, we always have under control what the management costs of our Naboo are. It is possible to consult the energy monitor data directly from Naboo or by checking the hack data remotely and viewing cooking by cooking the consumption of water, detergent, and energy. In the contacts section, you will also find an email chef.support where you can write any application-related request concerning Naboo. Additionally, in the bottom line, you can enter the number of your technical center to always have everything at hand. In Naboo models without steam generator and in Puff and Foody, the water softener filter function is available. Thanks to this function, Naboo counts the liters of water passing through the softener filter and will suggest when it is time to replace the filter. Moreover, with this setting, you can also view the status of the Brita filter. If you haven't enabled this setting on your Naboo, I recommend enabling it by contacting your technical center to install the Brita filter and enable the function. Let's access the washing function of our Naboo. By selecting the washing function, you can view at the top the detergent levels present inside the cartridges. The cartridges are integrated inside the Naboo and under the cooking chamber. The cartridge with the yellow cap is dedicated to combiclion for washing the cooking chamber, while the cartridge with the green cap is dedicated only to Naboo units equipped with a steam generator for cleaning and maintaining the steam generator. Moreover, on the Naboo display, we find different washing programs. We have the rinse cycle with water only for 3 minutes. We have the fast program that lasts 11 minutes. This program is highly recommended when you need to finish one cooking cycle and start another immediately, and the Naboo cooking chamber is very dirty. Furthermore, we have the soft washing program lasting 24 minutes, 2 eco washing programs that allow significant savings in energy and detergents, and finally the longest washing program, grill wash. Additionally, we can also initiate the washing of the smoke grill circuit. You can still manually wash the Naboo cooking chamber with the dedicated manual washing program. To start a washing program, simply click on the washing program. In this case, we click on the soft wash. Naboo asks us if we want to turn off the oven at the end of the washing. We click on OK. In this case, Naboo asks us to cool down the cooking chamber. Once the cooking chamber has reached the ideal temperature, simply close the door and the washing program will start automatically. Since we have set Naboo to automatically turn off at the end of the washing, we can safely leave. Naboo will automatically wash, dry, and turn itself off. In the morning, our Naboo will be ready to start cooking. In the settings related to the steam generator, it's possible to activate the call-out. Naboo will notify us when it's time to perform the call-out, meaning the cleaning of the steam generator. The callout is available only for Naboo units equipped with a steam generator. The green callout suggests that by the end of the day, it's necessary to start a callout cycle. When it's time to perform the callout, Naboo alerts us and will include the associated callout cycles with the washing of the cooking chamber. A yellow callout message means we need to start the callout within an hour of the notification. A red callout, on the other hand, means we must start the callout immediately. If we decide to continue cooking and proceed with the red callout, Naboo will automatically disable the callout. To restore the callout, it will be necessary to contact a LAINOX technical center, which will restore the steam generator by performing a manual descaling. However, in the settings related to the steam generator, it's still possible to start the callout cycle manually. Additionally, we can already view the washes of the cooking chamber associated with the various callout cycles. Furthermore, it's possible to activate the rinse and emptying of the steam generator. I recommend emptying the steam generator in case of seasonal closures. This way you avoid unnecessary water stagnation that can deteriorate the condition of Naboo's boiler. Naboo's washing management allows you to manage and schedule your washing cycles. It's possible to associate a washing cycle with specific recipes, and after 1, 2, or 3 different cooking sessions, Naboo automatically suggests performing a wash. It's also possible to block the wash and require the operator to wash Naboo after a cooking session. It's possible to associate the wash with multi-level cooking minutes. This way, after a certain amount of cooking time, Naboo suggests performing a wash. Again, it's possible to block and require the operator to perform the washing of Naboo. In the washing management, it's also possible to schedule weekly and timed washes. This way, you always have the correct cleaning or maintenance of Naboo, both for the cooking chamber and the steam generator. It is possible to create a weekly wash schedule. In this case, by clicking on the plus button, you can choose the days of the week on which you want Naboo to send you the wash suggestion. You can also choose the time at which Naboo sends you the wash suggestion. And finally, you can select the type of wash program that should appear. By clicking on Save, we have created our wash schedule. It is possible to block cooking. This way Naboo forces us to wash before proceeding with cooking. If our schedule is incorrect, it can be deleted. By going to Select, you can create a new wash recipe schedule. Let's take an example. We click on the plus button. We go to choose the wash program. We click on OK. At this point, we choose the recipe by clicking on the plus. In this case, Naboo asks if we want to choose recipes or a multi-level. In this case, we go to recipe. Let's, for example, look for chicken cooking. Let's, for example, associate it with chicken cooking. You just need to select, in this case, all the chicken cookings that I will do within, for example, my kitchen. Subsequently, I can add them to my schedule. Naboo asks me after how many executions of these recipes to start the wash recipe association. In this case, I can select on 2. Naboo also asks me if I want to block cooking. This way, I am obliged to perform the wash before proceeding with other cooking. It is possible to delete the schedule made. It is also possible to choose after how many minutes of multi-level activity to suggest the wash. In this case, it is set to 45 by default, but I can customize this number. After 45 minutes, for example, of activity and multi-level cooking, Naboo suggests the wash program to do. When Naboo alerts us that the detergent cartridges are about to run out, they can be replaced. To replace the detergent cartridges, simply open the hatch and remove the cartridge. Unscrew the cap and close the cartridge with its old lid and pull it out. To reinsert the cartridge, just lift the weighing tube, insert the cartridge but not all the way, and use the handy handle to open the cap. Then insert the cap. Pay attention to the method of insertion. The longer part must be inserted at the back. Then push the cartridge all the way in. Once the detergent cartridge has been replaced, simply go to the wash section and select Set Maximum. Naboo asks if we have replaced the cartridge, then press OK. The Naboo coach suggests when to clean the cooling system of Naboo. The air filter, which protects the electronic component, is located under the control panel. To remove it is simple, just use a screwdriver. Open the door, pry on one side and on the other. Then the filter comes out. The filter consists of two elements, the metal filter and the support. Subsequently, once washed and dried, insert the filter into the support and then reinsert it into Naboo. Simply press OK on the Naboo coach after the filter cleaning has been performed to reset the error. Naboo is equipped with double glazing. To clean the glass, simply open the door and detach the glass from the appropriate support. You can clean the glass using a damp cloth. Do not spray detergent on the lead bars, they could get damaged. Once the glass has been cleaned, secure it back onto the appropriate support and then close the cooking chamber. I recommend that before starting the washing of the Naboo cooking chamber, you clean the door seal. Use a damp cloth and if it's very dirty, a neutral detergent. Clean the cooking chamber seal from grease and dirt. This will preserve the seal over time, preventing it from wearing out prematurely. The Naboo door has a drainage channel, one on the door itself and one beneath the cooking chamber. The Naboo drainage channel is connected directly to the drain, but sometimes dirt can accumulate. To clean it, you will need to use a damp cloth to remove the dirt from the drainage channel. I recommend doing this before each wash cycle to preserve your Naboo. To clean Naboo externally, I recommend using a damp cloth. Wipe the damp cloth along the steel, the side, and the display. Thank you for watching this video. If you have further questions, do not hesitate to visit the website LAINOX.com. In the LAINOX support section, you will find an open, available service where you can write any of your questions. LAINOX support will provide you with the necessary answer to your question. Furthermore, our chef support service is always available, and you can contact us directly at chef.support@lainox.com. Thank you for watching this video, and I wish you a good day and enjoyment of your Naboo.